Joining us now via Skype, Micah Salberg, Director of International Affairs with ADL. Michael, we appreciate your return here to America's Forum. And as you look at this international survey, Michael, I have to ask you, did these results come as a surprise to you?
Yeah, it's good to be with you again, JD. The issue for us, surprise. We've been dealing with the question of anti-Semitism in the United States and around the world for a very long time. So we weren't surprised to find that our data revealed that it is pervasive, it is widespread, it is global in terms of levels of anti-Semitic attitudes. But since this is the first time any survey of its kind has been done, seeing the information it does open one's eyes. So the results, not surprising. Looking at individual countries, looking at the regional levels, and delving down into the data, it's illuminating and it's sobering. And so for us, we have an opportunity with this data to raise awareness of the problem and actually have a benchmark and a baseline of survey research data to point to as we enter into conversations and examine how best to address and counteract the levels of anti-Semitism in different places.
And Michael, that's my next question. With this baseline, what course of action do you think can be taken to counteract these attitudes that sadly seem to be so prevalent around the world?
Well, the very first thing is one to recognize that there is a problem and where the problem is located. And in many instances, we now have data for the first time to tell us there's a problem, and clearly the data show that the strength of anti-Semitic attitudes is highest in the Middle East and North Africa. When we look into the data and we see where the primary sources of information about Jews are within that region, it's the internet and satellite TV. And so, that is also provides one potential means to counteract it. If we can get a support from leaders that this is something that is unacceptable in society, that's a beginning. And we have to bring to the attention of leaders that there is a problem. They have to acknowledge that there's a problem, and then they have to be willing to address the problem. This will start the conversation in those places where countries are already have been dealing with the issue of anti-Semitism, counteracting anti-Semitism for years. We now have survey research data that can be used side by side with information about incidents of anti-Semitism, violence or vandalism, and the two, so it's not just anecdotal anymore. And it's important to know that this is, as I say, just a baseline. It's a snapshot. It's a moment in time. It isn't intended to be used to characterize an entire country or region, but to illuminate a particular hatred, bigotry, and prejudice related to how people see Jews.
Michael, you said the results are sobering. To me, they were shocking, where nearly half of the respondents had never heard of the Holocaust. In the United States, the Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C. offers such stunning clarity of the brutality there. What will it take, and we have about a minute and a half left, Michael, what will it take to make people aware of what has happened historically to the Jewish people?
Right. So the flip side of your question is that somewhat more than half of the people surveyed had actually heard of the Holocaust. But there's some bad news in that as well. Of those, 32% of the 54% who had actually heard of the Holocaust, were aware of it, either thought it was exaggerated or a myth. And so those who are aware and believe it constitute only about a third of the respondents. Now, what will it take to raise awareness, and why should we be concerned about whether or not societies that have no connection to Jews or Jewish history should be aware of it? We should be concerned because of the lessons of the Holocaust has for all of society, because genocide is still with us, and it is a way to improve the lives of people and society, to learn from those lessons.
Michael, it is important to learn, and the phrase that comes to mind is never again. Michael Salberg, Director of International Affairs with the Anti-Defamation League, we're very appreciative of your time on this very important topic.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
Now, when we come back, your comments and more. We'll find out what's in store from a certain friend in New York. That's coming up as we head down the home stretch here on America's Forum. Stay with us.